I presented them with a choice. Either they left or I drew my sword. They left. It turned out to be a real time saver, actually. Perhaps I should start using it more often. Did you manage to track down the treasure hoarders? Everything I said was true, right?
That just about sums it up. It turns out that you really were distributing emergency provisions, but they were all purchased at your own expense.
Strange. Is that really the kind of person I was? I don't really have any such recollection. Even after all you've told me, I still don't remember anything. Why was I purchasing emergency provisions for everyone? And why would I put myself in such a difficult situation? I really don't understand. But I cannot deny that when I brandished my sword to scare those two away, I could sense that my body was somehow reluctant to do so.
Sword. Mind if we have a look? What? Oh.
This sword was once wielded by my father. I remember once when I was young, I wanted to sneak out with the blade and show it off to the kids next door. My father ended up catching me in the act and scolded me severely. What did he say? I can't seem to remember that either. It would seem that I forgot many important things when my vision was taken from me. So many memories gone. Forever. No matter how hard I try to remember.
Surely, these people must have ties to other people throughout their lives. They can always ask them to tell them stories about themselves, if they have friends, family. People who just generally know the story, that knew who they were. That could be a way to regain some of these memories if they've shared them with other people. Or maybe not regain, but hear the story of the memory.
All I can remember now is my father telling me that this blade bore his life's creed. Before he passed away, he placed the sword in my hands and said to me, "With this sword, you should."
Hey, if you look carefully, there seems to be some words engraved on the hilt. Can you recognize the words?
The words are virtue and justice.
Virtue and justice?
Why did the Traveler, why did Lumine have to read it? Is it not written in a language other people can read? Surely he would have noticed the writing himself. He would have studied it, surely, if it's so important even now with his lost memories.
Somehow those two words seem to explain everything now. Taking on seemingly endless debts to make others happy. I guess that must have been my greatest ambition after all.
I mean, he's a bit too proud of the self-sacrifice that continues to ruin your life. I'm sure his family must have felt bad. He's clipping so much. I'm sure his family must have felt bad also seeing him do that to himself without care for him, or choosing perhaps to leave some amount for them as well, as he became more and more in debt. It's not just his debt. His family will feel it, and they'll see him suffer, which I'm sure his loved ones wouldn't want to see. I don't know what's right in this situation, but I suppose he's being selfless. Bit too kind, though, to the point where he's hurting others in turn. I don't think the people, if they cared about him back, would have allowed him to do it, so I guess... I don't know.
But what use of virtue and justice? I purchased the provisions for those in need, and look how things ended up. The Tenryo Commission seized my vision, and the very people I was so desperately trying to help refused to understand me.
Well, they couldn't understand, nor you couldn't even explain yourself, so that they could come to an understanding. But yeah, they did seem to perform a strange witch hunt. They even tried to rope us into being like, look at him.
And the irony of all of it is, I somehow still felt sorry when threatening them with my blade. I'm incapable of being a good person, yet I'm equally unable to be bad. I don't know what to do with myself.
Yet another troubled soul. When we get the chance, let's speak to Toma about Kurosawa's debt. The Yashiro Commission would surely help cover his expenses.
Didn't think about that. Yeah. We're not on exactly the best of terms, and they wanted us to deal with this situation. So us being like, can you pass us some money so we can resolve these issues, isn't really us resolving the issues. Unless they actually just want us to investigate. I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea to ask them for help, considering this is something that we got told it was a trade. We do 3 deeds. They show us to the Shogun.
In any case, we must never let him sell off that sword.
Is no trifling matter. Losing a vision.
Yeah, seems like losing all ambition is a terrible experience. Fortunately for us, you don't have a vision. Let's go find the next poor soul.
Hey. Let's go find the next poor soul. Oh, we've gone too high. I had assumed it was in the city from the look of it. Maybe it didn't look carefully enough. I guess this best wanting to be the best sword master.
The third person who had their vision taken is supposed to be a famous sword master around these parts. Paimon heard that he's the present-day master of Meikyo Shisui art. Sounds pretty impressive.
If I knew what Meikyo Shisui art was.
This is his dojo. Luckily, there's some people around. Let's go talk to them.
Nanako, don't worry. Sensei will be fine. Those thugs that challenged the dojo were strong, but he fought them all off in the end, didn't he?
Maybe, but I'm still worried about him. Things have gotten dangerous before in the past, but it's never shaken him. This time, though?
It's just because he's been possessed, that's all. Once the exorcism has taken place, he'll be right as rain in no time.
Hey there! Did something happen?
Who are you? I don't care whether you're trespassers or just here to harass us while Sensei is impaired. Get out of here immediately! Don't make me draw my blade, or you won't live to regret it.
People sure jump to strange, random conclusions. It must be extremely difficult for anyone to interact with each other If there's this many people like this, I guess it's what that woman with the IOUs was saying. If you fall on hard times, people just, I guess, don't know how to think straight.
No, you got it so wrong. We just came here to,
We're here to become disciples. That's not true.
Disciples?
Yep. We've heard all about the mighty master of Meikyo Shisui art. It's the whole reason we came all this way, to seek him out and ask him to train us.
Why don't we just be honest and be like, we want to help him, and there's not an exorcism he needs.
But then we got here and overheard you talking about how he got possessed or something?
From the way you're dressed, it doesn't look like you're from around here. Please, accept my apologies. We've had so many people trying to cause us trouble recently that we're on high alert.
Aren't they supposed to bow their heads? And a little bit of their... aren't they supposed to bow when they're apologizing? I don't know.
You haven't arrived at the best of times, I'm afraid. Sensei got possessed recently, and he's still recovering. He's not able to take on any new disciples for the time being. I see you are earnest in your pursuit. Okay, how about this? My fellow disciple Nanako and I will explain Sensei's situation to you in a little more detail. Then you can decide whether to stay or to leave. Sensei's name is Domon, a name I'm sure you've already heard.
I can't remember, so maybe.
Though self-taught, he mastered the art of the sword to a high level. He then proceeded to defeat many other prominent sword masters, never losing a single fight. He once said that his goal was to become the best sword master in the world. And so, even while training us, he continued to hone his own art. His fervor truly inspired us, and we trained hard, determined to keep up with him. But then...
Not long ago, Sensei had his vision taken away. He hasn't been the same since. He says the strangest things over and over, and he refuses to let us train. Junya and I have discussed it, and we both think that he's been possessed by an evil spirit. So we've asked the shrine maidens from the Grand Narukami Shrine to perform an exorcism. But if I'm honest, I still have my doubts over whether he'll completely recover.
The Grand Narukami Shrine? What's that?
You haven't heard of it? It's the largest shrine on Narukami Island. The head shrine maiden is reputed to have very close ties with the almighty Shogun herself.
Well, that's another person we can attempt to talk to about this. To increase our chances of and resources to finding the Shogun.
Not that we'd have any means of involving the head shrine maiden, of course. But even one of the ordinary shrine maidens from the Grand Narukami Shrine would have clear power and authority to perform an exorcism. So don't worry, Nanako. Sensei is going to be just fine. The exorcism will take place this evening. You're both more than welcome to come and watch if you're interested.
It'll be interesting to see if it even has an effect. Why are we pretending we want to be disciples? We can't just tell them we're here to help.
So, losing your vision can cause possession?
That's what he guesses.
Guess we should come back this evening and see for ourselves.
Why did she had a smile on her face when she said that? Okay. I guess it's already evening.
So you decided to come. It's a good thing you didn't arrive any earlier. You would have had to witness Sensei in one of his fits of madness.
Oh. I missed it. I was standing here the whole time, though.
just now, when Nanako was attending to him, she heard him whispering a few names to himself. When she asked him who the people were, he suddenly looked panic-stricken and pushed her away. It looked like he was in great distress. He was covering his ears and looking frantically around him with bloodshot eyes. All the while he kept calling those names. Some of them we knew, others we didn't recognize. But they all seemed to be the names of sword masters he had defeated in the past.
I wonder if the reason we're not allowed to see this is because it wouldn't be very, a young person friendly. Because that looks like disturbing. I mean, that sounds disturbing to imagine the imagery of the way he's saying these things. Like, to imagine a person in that state. I guess it's too much for the audience that I guess Mihoyo wants to cater to see. And so it must be described in this way with a soft voice and a description. I guess it's as far as they can go in trying to make something more mature, I guess.
One of them was Anzai. He used to be a fellow disciple of Sensei's, his senior, in fact. But Sensei defeated him in a duel many years ago, and he has been a wanderer ever since. Sensei wouldn't stop calling his name. Thankfully, the shrine maidens managed to subdue him, so the exorcism can finally continue.
Shrine maidens. Well, I guess he's in good hands then. If one shrine maiden was good, then he's got a bunch of them holding him down.
The ritual has now begun. All we can do is patiently await the result. Here's hoping Sensei will be back to his normal self very soon. Please, excuse me for a moment while I fetch some water. If he wakes up, he is sure to be thirsty.
He sure cares about his teacher a lot. I wonder what the story there is. What?
Huh?
Is that him? Then he ran away or something?
Who's that sneaking around? Uh-oh. Could they be here to mess up the exorcism?
We're gonna follow the, it could be a trap to get us out of here.
Come on, let's go after them.
They won't let them get away with running.
Seems they aren't here. Should we keep going further up?
Sure. Oh, it's Amber's bow. Nice. Bastion's Slaw. Finally, I've been waiting the whole game for this bow. There you go. Now she can match her splash art. Finally.
Is this definitely the right place? Let's look a little further up. I'll find the treasure for sure. Aha! Suspicious person sighted! That's gotta be him!
I mean, it looks like him, but a lot of the models look the same.
How did you catch up with me so quickly?
He's looking at the floating child. How did the floating child float its way up without... I mean, do you want to look at me when you ask that? He just ran.
Are you sure you're Domon's disciples? You move even quicker than he does. Unless... I guess it's been a few years. Maybe his skills have improved again.
Is this like... competition?
Excuse me? We're the ones asking the questions First off, who are you? And what are you doing sneaking around these parts? You seem like bad news, mister.
I don't know why Paimon doesn't get abused by almost every person she encounters, because having someone talk to you this way is just asking for trouble.
Bad news? I'll have you know I trained side by side with Domon back in the day, long before you ever showed up. I don't care to talk about that time anymore. But if you must know, I am Domon's senior.
His senior? Wait, that means you must be...
Anzai. Yes, that's me.
Huh. I thought he was supposed to have never fought again, and yet he's still got a sword at his hip. Why did you run?
Because I don't wish to see Domon or anyone else associated with him ever again.
What?
When we were young, we trained under the same swordmaster, studying Make-Yoshi Sui art together. I had begun training 5 years before him, and everyone looked up to me as a steady and dependable older disciple.
Oh my god, this is gonna get dumb.
Practitioners of Make-Yoshi Sui art seek to achieve stillness of mind, freedom from all agitation.
Seem to be missing
So the
that.
majority of disciples are indifferent to rank and reward. I was no exception.
Don't sound like it.
But Domon was different. The first thing he did when he joined was go straight to our sensei and ask him, with a beaming smile on his face, how to become the best in the world. Sensei scolded him and told him that the art of the sword should not be used for such vain ends. Sensei said that coveting the title of the best swordmaster, barely days into his training, showed that he had a fickle mind, and that this would impede him from ever mastering the blade.
Damn. Guess they have broken principles. Maybe they should have just had better principles.
I thought so too at the time, but Domon began making swift progress in his training and even started catching up with me. Only then did I realize that it was Domon who had long since freed his mind from all agitation. He was consumed by his singular desire to become the best in the world. He sought nothing less than perfection in the art of the sword, and nothing could deter him from this goal, no matter what stood in his way.
Okay. And so, and this upsets this guy because he isn't following the principles taught to the students. Sure. Okay.
Sure sounds like he meant business. So how come you don't want to ever see him again?
Because until he arrived, I was convinced that I would succeed our sensei as the master of Make-Yoshi Sui art.
Doesn't that mean you were looking for a title, which you shouldn't have been?
Of all the disciples, I was the most gifted. I had trained the longest. Everyone had high expectations for me.
Oh, this guy's so pathetic. He's just jealous. So boring.
Domon's arrival changed everything. When we sparred, I lost not just the match, but my pride and my status too. I fled the dojo that day and never looked back. Later, I heard that he sparred with Sensei too. Sensei was advanced in years by then, and unfortunately that match used up every last ounce of energy in his body. After that, I wanted nothing further to do with him. Deep down, though, I still respected his mastery of the blade and his commitment to the art of the sword. So, when I heard rumors that he had lost his mind, my first reaction was to dismiss them as false. How could he, of all people, have lost his mind? His mind was the sharpest of them all. He had practiced Make-Yoshi Sui art to perfection. I decided to quietly come and see if it were true. Then, to my complete astonishment, I heard him call my name. I thought mine was a name he had long since forgotten. So you see, I came here not to cause him any harm. I just wanted to see for myself.
It's just starting to sound contradictory. He said he didn't want to see anyone associated with him or him ever again, and yet went to see him to check whether it was true. But he didn't want to cause him any harm. He just doesn't like him and respects him. I'm so
You've heard my
confused.
story. You should get back now. The exorcism is probably finishing.
Seems like we got it wrong this time. He wasn't here to mess up the exorcism at all. Still, Paimon's not sure we should bring him back with us. Let's go see how the exorcism's coming along.
I feel like somehow in my head, I've somehow made something mutually exclusive when contradictions can happen at the same time. And I didn't really understand this person's motives for why they acted the way they did. I feel like I've missed an important part. Maybe I've lost my vision.
What? You're saying he isn't possessed? Does that mean he's just lost his mind? But how is that possible? No, I refuse to believe it. Something's clearly wrong.
I mean, no one said it wasn't wrong, they just said he wasn't possessed.
Nanako, please. Try not to get agitated.
I am sorry. With what powers I have, I can find no sign of any malignant spirit having possessed Domon. But spirits may take a myriad of forms in this world, many of which I cannot claim to have witnessed myself. Thus, I dare not rule out possession with complete certainty.
She said with a smile.
And all is
Oh,
certainly
her face
not
turned down.
lost. For I received word not long ago that Lady Yai has taken an interest in your sensei's case.
Lady Yai? Is that the same Lady Yai that I think you mean?
The head shrine maiden of the Grand Narukami Shrine? That's wonderful news! Then Sensei will be sure to recover.
Correct. Lady Yai is most knowledgeable indeed, and has abundant experience in the exorcism of evil spirits and aversion of great calamities.
Such a strange way to introduce a character. You know, the delivery, I feel like was meant to be sort of John Wick-like, saying how great she was, but felt a little bit like it was over-explaining where it didn't need to be. Oh yes, she is experienced in this and that. I mean, they know. That's why they got excited. So this explanation is really just meant for us. I don't think it's very organically put together.
I am unable to say for certain whether an evil spirit has possessed your sensei, but Lady Yai can give a conclusive verdict.
Excuse me, Miss Inagi, but I must ask, should we prepare a greeting gift for Lady Yai?
That won't be necessary. All that is required of you is your timely arrival at the Grand Narukami Shrine. Lady Yai does not like to be kept waiting.
He has to go. What about the actual person who needs help? Are you gonna walk him all the way up that mountain?
I must leave now, but we will meet soon at the shrine. I wish Domon a full and speedy recovery.
Who'd have thought Lady Yai herself would have taken notice of our sensei's case?
Do you mean to say that Sensei isn't renowned enough to deserve Lady Yai's attention?
Oh my god, this woman.
No, that's not what I meant at all.
Obviously.
You misunderstand me. I just mean this is Lady Yai, the head shrine maiden. She has direct and close contact with the almighty Shogun herself.
So? It's not why she's here. It's not about her connection with the Shogun.
Anyway, you should join us too, tomorrow. Given that you've traveled all this way just to meet our sensei, We, the disciples of Meikyo Shisui Art, will do our best to help you.
Sure! After all, everyone seems pretty excited about Lady Yae. We're curious to meet her too. Who knows? Maybe we'll be able to find out a thing or two about the Raiden children from her.
Yes. That sounds like it's more relevant to us.